we are going to get started in our core glutes and low back release class. So what you need for today's class is you need a bench or any elevated surface, coffee table or a couch will work really great. One dumbbell between 10 to 20 pounds, a mat, and then you need a yoga block. Now, a really good substitution for the yoga block could be a rolled up bath towel. We're just going to use it to elevate our knee and also to put in between our legs for a couple other exercises that we'll do today. So for those of you who have been to this class many times before, you know how it works. We do a bunch of breathing exercises to start off, and then we get into kind of some feel-good mobility, and then we get into the strengthening, more sweaty stuff. So it's going to feel like it's a slower start for about the first 15 minutes. That's on purpose. And then we're going to pick up the pace and start to load things and move things and get a bit sweatier. So to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to do our first breathing exercise, which is breathing into our back, but we're going to use the block for a little bit of feedback. So when I say breathing into your back, all I mean is that many of us, when we're breathing, we tend to be belly breathers, right? And there's nothing wrong with belly breathing unless it's promoting lots of tension in the backside of our body, which it does for lots of us. And because this is our low back release class, we're trying to breathe in ways that help to stretch and open those tight back muscles and to get a little bit more tension and engagement on the front side of our abs. So I'm going to be cueing you to breathe into your back and then to exhale to get your abs on. You'll keep some engagement in your abs, not by gripping, but just by holding a little bit of tension there as you breathe in again, and that's going to force a lot of the air into your back, okay? So that's kind of the idea that we're going for. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our palms and we're going to supinate them, so we're going to turn them up towards the ceiling, and we're just going to squeeze them very gently around the outside of our block. Now, if you have a towel, that works totally fine too. If you have a foam roller, that works great. If you even have just a book or something, just something that you can gently squeeze about, let's say, 4 to 6 inches apart, okay? So you can see we're on our hands and knees here, or our forearms and knees here, and we're gently squeezing the block. We're not squeezing the block so much that our upper back is really tense and our shoulders are rounded. It's just like I want to say I have like a 2 to 3% push from either side of my forearm onto this block. So let's start breathing. We're going to take an inhale into our body. So take an inhale and an exhale. And then on your next inhale, see if you can send that air into your upper back, into your kind of bra strap and shoulder blade area. And then as you exhale, I want you to fog up a mirror. So literally exhale like this. Keep exhaling, get all the air out, and you're going to feel some gentle engagement on your abs, okay? Exhale all that air out. Now keep that ab engagement and inhale into your upper back again. Exhale, fog up the mirror. All the air goes out. Keep that ab engagement. Inhale into that upper back and start to pull your chest towards your knees, just very slightly. So you're shifting your weight back just a little bit. Let's inhale again. Exhale. Ribs come down. Keep those abs on. Then inhale. Squeeze the block very gently. Pull back just 1 or 2 millimeters so that your shoulders are coming back and towards your hips. Let's exhale all the air out. Then inhale into that upper back. Keep squeezing the block. If your neck is kind of starting to get sore, look forward kind of to where your fingers are, just gently. And maybe don't squeeze the block as hard. Let's take 2 more inhales. So inhale, exhale. Fog up that mirror. Abs come on. The ribs are coming down. Keep those abs on. Inhale into that upper back. Exhale. Fog up the mirror. Abs come on. Abs stay on. Let's breathe in again into that upper back. Squeeze the block. Pull your shoulders back a little bit. Pull your hips back. Ooh, and release. So what that exercise does is it helps to get some air up top so that our diaphragm can move a little better when we start to do some of the other exercises that we're going to do. So next move for our low back release, we're going to take this block and we're going to put it underneath our right knee. So if you have a rolled up towel, this works really well. We're just trying to elevate our knee a little bit. It doesn't need to be a hard surface. So I'm going on to my hands and knees. My right knee is on the block. I'm going to take my right hand right in front of the block, about 1 foot. And then my left hand is going to reach just gently out to the side and up a little bit. Okay, so I'm kind of in an off stance quadruped position here. Now I'm going to put my head kind of over my right hand, and I'm going to inhale and I'm going to rock back. Okay, so I'm basically rocking back over my right side, and then I'm going to exhale and come forward. I'm going to inhale, rock back. I'm going to exhale and come forward. Let's do a few more on this side. Inhale, rock back. Imagine you could fill the back of your right butt cheek with air, and then exhale, come forward. A couple more. Inhaling, rock back. So I'm right over top of my right knee, my head's in line with my right hand, and I'm rocking back like this, and then exhaling, come forward. A great way to get into the sacrum, into the low back, to help to balance movement from side to side. Let's do one more. Inhale back, and then exhale, come forward. Okay, switch to your other side. So this time your left knee is going to go on the block. You're in that quadruped position. Let's take your right hand out to the side just a little bit. So your right hand will be extended out to the side and slightly in front of your left hand. You're on your hands and knees otherwise. And we're going to inhale to rock back and exhale to rock forward. So if you could think of where to send your breath to the back of your left butt cheek this time. Inhale, rock back. Exhale, come forward. So if your sacrum is kind of sticky or stuck or tends to get kind of clumped up on one side, this is a really helpful drill. Inhaling on the way back, filling that back body with air. Exhale as you come forward. It's a really great way to help to get some movement and stimulation for that sacrum to move around a little bit because we've got this left knee up. Let's do a couple more on this side. Inhale back and exhale forward. One more. And exhale forward. So it's pretty normal with this exercise for it to feel really different one side to the other. Okay. We're going to move on to some more movement stuff. So let's come back into that quadruped position on your hands and knees. And you're going to imagine you have a pen on your belly button, and you're literally drawing big circles with that pen. So you're in your hands and knees, and you're coming back over your hips, and then over across your shoulders, drawing big circles. Try to keep a pretty neutral position through our spine, so we're not dropping our belly down, nor are we arching. We're kind of finding the happy medium between those. This should really feel nice on your inner thighs, on your hips, and on your shoulders. Okay, let's go in the other direction. So still drawing those big circles. So traditionally, what I think people think they should do if they have low back tension are, stretching and moving and all these sorts of things. Movement obviously helps, but lots of times better breathing. So those exercises that we just did where we can actually try to breathe into our back are really, really helpful for better feeling in our back over the long term. Okay, so let's stop our circles. We're going to tuck our toes underneath, and we're going to lift ourselves up to a downward facing dog. So we're going to tip those hips up. Your heels might go down to the ground, they might not. And we're just going to pedal out one heel at a time, letting those hips kind of rock from side to side. And then we're gonna walk our hands forward just a little bit more. We'll take an inhale. And then as we exhale, we're gonna come into a high plank. Okay, at any time, the knees can drop if we want. Let's inhale all the way back to that downward facing dog. And then exhale, that fog up the mirror, exhale into your high plank. Good job. Inhale, reaching all the way back. Then exhale and imagine drawing your hip bones towards one another as you come into that plank. Good, let's do a few more. Inhale, fill the back body with air. Exhale, pull those hip bones together on the front. Two more. Inhale back. Exhale through. Pull those hip bones together. Press the floor away with your hands. One more time. Inhale back. Exhale forward into that high plank. Okay, let's end in our downward facing dog. So bring the hips back. Let's extend our left leg up to the sky. Big, big stretch. And then swoop that left leg through and come into a half kneeling position. Okay, so in this position, it's really common for us to keep our ribs popping forward. I want you to get those ribs down and kind of pull them back a little bit more, okay? Your hands are gonna go on your hips and you're going to draw some big circles with this half kneeling position. So we're gonna get into that hip flexor on the right leg a little bit more. That's the leg that's behind us. Let's go in the other direction. Big circles. Oh, it feels good. Okay, keep this half kneeling position and we're gonna toe out our left foot slightly. Let's bring our hands down in front of us so our foot is turned out on an angle and we're gonna try to roll to the outside knife edge of that left foot, okay? Let's take our left hand, push it to the inside of the left knee, get a nice stretch to the outside of your left hip. Take that left hand, swoop it behind your right hand, and then open for a big inhale. And do that again. Exhale, reach behind your right hand, open the left hand. Three more. Reaching behind, keeping that lizard position open through the hip. Two more. Inhale as you reach. Exhale as you rotate. One more time. And exhale. Okay, press your hands into the floor, get really strong, and go back to that downward facing dog. Couple pedals out through those feet. And now we're gonna extend that right leg up to the sky. Big, big, big stretch out of the right leg, and then swoop it through into your half kneeling position. Take a sec, get those ribs back. Try not to be in this big flared position. That puts a lot of load onto our back. And hands on the hips, and draw your big hip circles. Yeah, so once again, this would be now like we have a pen in the bottom of our pelvis, and we're trying to draw a big circle on the ground. Just getting some mobility into that hip, and let's rotate the other direction. Big circles. Oh yeah, because our hips are obviously part of our core, and greatly affect how our back feels. Okay, so now we're gonna toe out that right foot and come up onto the knife edge, the outside of that right foot. Push your right hand into the inside of your right knee. Enjoy that lovely stretch on the outside of the right hip. Then with an inhale, reach your arm up, rotate your chest towards that right knee, and then exhale, reach that head behind. Inhale, rotate open. Exhale, reach behind. Let's do three more. Inhale and exhale. Last two. And exhale. Inhale, reach. And exhale. Beautiful. Okay, we are gonna make our way up to standing. And we're gonna do an exercise that you're gonna think has nothing to do with your core or your back, but it definitely does. So we're gonna do what's called a standing co-contraction. After we finish this, we're gonna get into kind of the more sweaty, fun stuff. So we're gonna stand onto our right foot, okay? So get all your weight onto your right foot. Get your left foot as a kickstand behind you, so not very much weight onto that left foot. Now, on your right foot, I want you to lift your heel up, kind of like you're going onto the ball of your foot. but you've still got most of your weight down through that right foot. So right now you should be feeling your calf on your right foot, kind of doing a lot of work. So we're gonna take an inhale, and then we're gonna slowly roll down and then come back up. Keep most of your weight on your right foot, and don't let your knee lock out, and don't let it bend any more than this micro bend you currently got, okay? So inhale, and then we're gonna exhale, and we're gonna roll down. Most of your weight onto that right foot, that right knee is slightly bent. You're gonna start feeling that calf work a lot more, your hamstring, your butt, your quad, and then let's roll all the way up. Oh my goodness. If you need to use the wall for support on this, you definitely can, because this is a balance challenge. Inhales and exhales, rounding down. So that right heel is lifted off the ground. It's normal to feel like your leg is wiggling a lot, okay? It should be. Your calf's working, your ankle, your foot. One more time, let's hinge forward. So I'm staying pretty close to my leg. I'm rounding my back on the way down. My heel is lifted. I'm not letting that knee bend or straighten any more than that 5-degree bend. Woo! And we're gonna switch to the other side. So what this is doing is this is taking the work into our legs. It's saying, legs, you gotta do the job, because it's not the back's job to do everything, okay? So let's go over to the other side. Weight all on the left foot, kickstand on the right, lift your heel on that left foot, and push down through the ball of your foot. You can use the wall if you need. So inhale, and then start to hinge over. You've got that 5-degree bend in your left knee. Woo. And then roll it up really nice and slow. It's so common. I've been doing this for a while, and my foot still shakes quite a bit on this one. Inhaling, rolling down. This is getting all of your muscles in your leg to work together. So it's intermuscular coordination. Your calf, your hamstring, your quad, your glute, the muscles of your feet. Let's do one more. Hinging forward. Whoa. If you're wiggling and shaking, you're doing it right. Keep that knee micro bend, roll it up. Okay, so we are now primed to go load and move our hips and our core, because we've stretched the back out from the inside. We've said, hey legs, you need to take over the work, so the back's not going to do everything. We're ready to rumble. So what you need to do is roll up your mat, or use that rolled up towel to elevate your heels just a couple inches off the ground, okay? Then you're going to take your block or your foam roller or your book, and you're going to put it in between your legs like this to squeeze. You need to grab your dumbbell and hold your dumbbell in goblet position, which is like this. So I'm holding the top of my dumbbell and I'm squeezing my elbows in, and we're going to take a squat, okay? So we've got this block in between our knees. We're going to squeeze that block, and we're going to push our heels and our big toes into the ground. So let's inhale down really nice and slow. We're going down for 2 counts. And then we're going to exhale, pressing up for 2 counts. Squeeze that block and push those big toes into the ground. Let's do it again. We're going to do 10 of these. Inhale down for 2. Squeeze the block. Exhale. Stand it up. Nice work. Only 8 more. Inhale down for 2. Exhale, squeeze that block and press up. You might be used to going a little faster. We're slowing this down today so that we can really get that block squeezed. So I like to inhale on the way down. Exhale, squeeze that block and press the floor away. Beautiful. Inhale down for 2. Exhale, squeeze that block and come up. Squeeze those elbows in. Keep that dumbbell really close to your chest. Kind of resting right at your collarbone. Couple more reps here, guys. Feeling those quads get all burny. Your glutes are working. When we squeeze this block, it really helps to get more work through those glutes. Inhale down. Exhale. Press the floor away. Okay, take yourself out of this move. Block goes to the side, dumbbell goes to the side, and roll your mat out again if you need it. We're gonna move into a side plank. So our forearm is gonna press on the ground, elbow's gonna press on the ground, and you can come up either on your knees or the outside of your shins or on your toes, okay? We're gonna reach our top arm up. We're gonna lift our top leg, whether we're going from our knees or our toes, and we're gonna swing this top leg forward. And then we're gonna bring it back. We'll do 10 of these, okay? Press away from the floor, pull your hips up, roll that top hip forward a little bit, and then reach that leg forward and come back. I'm not worried about how far you reach your leg forward. I'm more worried about if you're stabilized at your hips, if you're really pressing that forearm into the ground to stay strong through your shoulders. Oh yeah, so this is a slow swing. It's not a fast swing, as you can see. Feeling work on the side of our hips, on the side of our abs, our obliques are working here. Woo. Nice work, guys. If you start to feel this in your back, try to roll over through that top hip again and really feel like you're pressing that forearm into the floor. A couple more on this side, and then we'll switch over to do 10 on the other side. Woo! Great job, guys. Okay, so lots of lateral hip and core on this one. Set up your side plank, knees or toes, reach that top arm up, press the forearm into the ground, take that top hip, roll it forward a little bit, and we're gonna come through and back. Yes. So we're not trying to swing that leg so high that we kind of lose our form in our plank. The leg is just a little bit of added load for that hip and underside abs. Good work. Woo! Plus, it helps you work your inner thighs a little bit as well. Great job. Keep pressing that forearm into the floor. 10 reps on this side. Really normal to feel like one side is easier or harder than the other. When you finish that 10th rep, we're going to stay on the mat and we're going to need our dumbbell. So grab your dumbbell once you finish your 10th rep, and I'm going to walk you through this extended dead bug. So hold the ends of your dumbbell like this. Reach it up right over your chest, okay? We're going to take an inhale and then exhale. Get those ribs down like you're fogging up the mirror. Exhale, and then reach your hands just a couple degrees, maybe like 6 to 10 inches back. So not all the way back, but just about 6 to 10 inches back, okay? You're gonna keep your arms here. That's really gonna load those abs. Now let's lift our knees up to tabletop position, and we're gonna inhale to extend one leg, and then exhale to bring it back up. Inhale to extend the other leg, exhale, bring it back up. So remember, your hands are in this slightly extended position, right? So that dumbbell's not right over your chest. It's reaching back just slightly. Inhale, drop, exhale, lift. Yes, we're doing 10 of these on each side as well. We are trying to keep our back flat on this one, so I don't want your low back arching off the mat. Now, if you want to make this harder, you can extend a straight leg down, okay? That's going to make it a lot tougher. If you feel that in your back, then please try to keep your knees bent as you tap your toe down. I feel my abs a lot more when I do the bent knee position. Woo. Feeling those upper abs. Keep those shoulders away from your ears. This is really tough, you guys. Keep breathing. Inhales and exhales. See if you can get that breath into the back side of your body. When you finish your 10th rep on each side, we're gonna get rid of this dumbbell. And we're gonna move on. So ways to make that one easier, you could obviously lift a lighter dumbbell. You can even just hold your block and extend it, because we're gonna do that for a couple more rounds. Okay, let's move ourselves over to our bench couch coffee table. You're going to put your bra strap right on the edge of your bench. It should feel kind of nice. It's almost almost like a little mid-back massage. Now, from our shoulders to our hips, we're not going to be popping or crunching or extending. This stays in one line, okay? And we think eyes to thighs, always looking at our thighs. So let's take our left foot, step it forward a little bit, and our right foot and step it back a little bit. Okay, so we've got a staggered stance here. Now you're gonna drop your bum to the ground, look down to your legs, keep looking down to your legs, and then lift your hips up. Drop down and lift up. Nice work. Drop the hips and lift up. So there's gonna be a little bit more work on the right leg this time. Of course, we're gonna switch. We're doing 10 reps here as well. Driving that right heel into the ground, keeping your ribs and your hips connected. So we're not arching through our back. We're literally rotating on our bra strap area. Woo, lots of glutes and hamstring in this one, and then your abs have to work to keep that stack position of ribs over hips. Okay, team, when you get to your 10th rep, you're gonna switch to your other side, change the stagger stance. Okay, so my left foot's gonna come in, and my right foot's gonna go out just a little bit. Staggered stance, hip thrust. So let's drop those hips down, push the heel into the mat and lift up. Now, if your neck is starting to get sore on this one, try changing your head position. So I find looking to my knees the whole time really helps to keep my head in a nice square position. Some people find looking at the seam in their ceiling, right, where the ceiling meets the wall is really helpful. Woo! Holy moly. So this is a really great progression to do before we do a single leg hip thrust. Nice job, guys. Okay, when you get to that 10th rep, you need to grab your block and then make your way up to standing with your dumbbell, because we're gonna go through round 2 of that slow goblet squat, heels elevated with our block in between our knees. So step 1, get your heels elevated onto a rolled up yoga mat, a rolled up towel, any sort of little pillow, a couch cushion works great. Block in between the knees, squeezing those elbows in and your dumbbell right at your collarbones. Let's inhale down for 2. Exhale, squeeze that block, press up for 2. We're going for 10, slow it down. Inhale down, 2, press up, 2. Push your big toes and baby toes into the ground. How about your heels? Push them into your elevated surface. Nice. Imagine you could drop your arches down as well, the arches of your feet. That really helps to activate those hips. Get more work through those glutes. Inhale down. Exhale. Press the floor away. A few more reps here, guys. We're going to 10. Squeeze those elbows in. Keep that dumbbell really close to your chest. It's literally touching your chest. If you're reaching it out, that can put a lot more strain on your back. So keep it nice and close. Woo! When you finish that 10th rep, we're going side plank with that slow leg swing, okay? So remember, options for the side plank, you can go from your toes or from your knees, both are great. I'd rather you pick an easier option and feel it in your abs more versus trying to do the hard option and feel it in your back more. So that's something to think about. Press that forearm into the ground, reach your hand up, swing that leg through, and come on back. Woo. So sometimes when we do core stuff, we do it at the end of a workout, and we're like, oh, I just need to bang out a few more reps of this core exercise, right? And we fail to keep optimal alignment, we fail to breathe, and we're gonna get so much more out of this when we go a little slow. That doesn't mean we don't ever do powerful core exercises, but we need stability for everything that we do. Walking, running, hiking, skiing, standing, lifting kids. Woo! The hips are burning. Okay, when you finish that 10th rep, over to the other side. Straight legs or from your knees, both are good options. Set up that side plank, swing your leg forward, and come on back. Good job. I really like that cue of rolling the top hip forward a little bit. For me, it helps me to feel my abs a lot more than my paraspinals, those big muscles that run up the sides of your spine. So you can try that rolling forward cue and see if you feel a bit more stability through your abdominal wall when you do that. Woo! Get to that 10th slow leg swing in your knee or toe plank. When you get to number 10, you know where we're going. We're going to that extended dead bug. So grabbing your dumbbell. If that was too hard, you could try your block and just holding your block. I'll walk you through this one, okay guys? So dumbbell goes straight up. Inhale. Exhale. Fog up the mirror. Once the mirror's fogged up, you'll feel those ribs are down. Then you're going to extend the dumbbell 6 to 10 inches. So it's probably right over your eyes. Okay? Knees come up to tabletop. We're going to inhale to drop your heel. Exhale to lift. You know how to make this one harder. We could go with a straight leg. We're doing 10 on each side here. Or we could try reaching that dumbbell a little further. Now, I only want you to reach that dumbbell a little further if it means you're not arching through your back, okay? Especially that upper back. We don't want any arching through that upper back on this exercise. Woo! Inhales and exhales. A little easier with the bent knee, a little harder with the straight leg. Not holding our breath. Back is pushing into the ground. Dumbbell is slightly extended. You can always refocus anytime if you need to. Woo-hoo-hoo. Feeling that work from ribs to hips. When you get to your 10th rep on either side, we're going to go up to that staggered stance, hip thrust again, okay? Wowza. That exercise is so simple, but so hard. Now, if you want to make the staggered hip thrust a little spicier, you can use the block. Again, we'll still stagger the feet. Just going to make those adductors, inner thighs, come online a bit more. So bra strap against the edge of your elevated surface. Let's take our left foot forward slightly, right foot back slightly, rotate on that bra strap, and then lift those hips up. Sitting down and lifting up. So this really is a hip hinging action, right? It's not a rounding through the back action. It's not a popping and dropping through the rib cage action. It's a rotate on your bra strap, drop your bum, then lift your hips action. If you're using the block, squeeze that block, especially as you're standing up. And by standing up, I mean the hips coming up. When you get to your 10th rep here, we're going to switch over to the other side. So left foot comes in, right foot staggers out just a little bit, block squeezes, hips drop. Really think of pushing that heel into the ground. Another cue I like is imagine pulling your heel back towards your bum, like you were doing a hamstring curl. Then you're really going to feel that hammy. Now, if your low back is hurting on this one, try a gentle tailbone tuck. Okay, that can really help to put your pelvis into a better position to get a bit more glutes on. When you get to number 10, we're moving right back to the start for our final round. Okay, our final round of elevated goblet squat, heels elevated, that is, side plank leg swing, extended dead bug, and staggered stance hip thrust. So you guys might be a little ahead of me, you might be a little bit behind me, but we all catch up in the end. The block goes between the knees, we squeeze, elbows come together, get that dumbbell really close to your torso. It's not out here, it's close to your heart. All right, heels down, inhale for 2, exhale, press those toes in. So take a little look at your knees. I want them to be going kind of out over your big toe, okay? You're in a pretty narrow stance because you've got this thing, whatever you've got, squeezing in between your legs to kind of help those adductors or inner thighs stay turned on. For a lot of people, this block in between the knees helps to prevent back pain in their squat because it kind of anchors their hips a bit more. And it helps with this mid-range of squat. Woo! When lots of people struggle to get this internal rotation of their hips that needs to happen. Inhale down, exhale, press the floor away. Woo-za! When you get to number 10, go on down to that side plank. Big toes, heels. Whoever thought a squat could be so spicy? So, when you're done 10 reps, pick a side, any side, set up that side plank. Try that idea of rolling that top hip forward. Grow out of this shoulder, so press the floor away. Reach that leg, and come on back. Give me 10. Whew. Nice work. Another thing to think about in the side plank is, if you're a rib cage popper, try to keep those ribs back. Remember at the very beginning of class, when we were doing that half kneeling hip circle thing, and I was getting you to bring your ribs back? That is a really common thread through core exercises where we'll use our back too much because we're in kind of this popped or rib flared position. So once you get to 10 on one side, you're going to switch. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get ourselves out of this position, I'm exaggerating obviously, and into this. Whether we're planking, whether we're squatting, whether we're hip thrusting, we're trying to get out of here because this is going to load those back muscles a lot. So position really matters. When you are ready to go to your second side, try that hip roll. Press the forearm into the ground. Nice. It's really common, especially if you've had full-term pregnancies, right? Because your ribs are going to be flared when you've got a huge baby growing in your belly. Stretches out those abdominal muscles, and your back extensors tend to be on because what else is holding you up, right? So when we come back into core work, keeping that position of ribs down and not flaring open is really helpful for getting your core muscles online and promoting more balance through that whole torso. Okay, when you finish that 10th leg swing on the second side, find your dumbbell and make your way to your final extended dead bug. Block works here too, right? Especially if you're feeling like your shoulders are doing a lot of work. Try a lighter weight, or just don't reach that dumbbell back so far. Okay, inhale, exhale. All the air goes out. Feel those ribs go down. Now try to keep the abs in that position. You can still inhale, and then reach that dumbbell 6 to 10 inches up. Okay, think of really reaching that dumbbell towards the sky as well. Knees to tabletop. We're gonna inhale to drop, and exhale to lift. Now, it's hard to breathe in when we are keeping those ribs down, right? Because we're getting restriction from those abs. But what we want is to keep some tension on our abs when we're breathing in. Because what that does is it helps to maintain the pressure in our whole core system so that the front and sides and back are all working together. Woo! Spicy. So remember how to make this one harder. You can drop with a straight leg, right? How to make it easier. You could drop with a bent leg. You could hold something lighter between your hands. When you get to your 10th rep on each side, you're going to go to your final set of staggered stance hip thrusts. Woohoo! Almost there, guys. One more exercise to go. Lovely. So if you want the block for the hip thrust, it will squeeze between the knees just like your squat did. So rib cage, bra strap area on the bench. Let's take our right foot forward, our left foot back. Squeeze that block, get those ribs down, and then drop the hips and lift. Remember that cue I gave you before about pulling your heels back towards your bum and doing that gentle tailbone tuck? For a lot of people, that can keep the move in their butt and their hamstrings and out of their low back. Remember that funny co-contraction thing where we were balancing on our balls of our feet? That is to get more work in your hammies and your glutes and your calves and your quads and less work in your back. When you get to rep number 10, you're going to switch up your leg stance. Right foot goes back, left foot goes forward, squeezing block, heels pulling back, tailbone gently tucked, and lift. Now, not every cue is going to work for every person. So if you find that doing a gentle tailbone tuck actually makes you feel your low back more, then you don't need to do that, right? Everyone's pelvis is going to be oriented just a little bit differently. So we need different cues for different people. Okay, team, when you get to your 10th rep on this second side, you can release the block, and I'm going to give you one more breathing exercise and a stretch before we call it a day. Woo! Good work. So your knees are going to go a little wider than hip width distance apart. You're going to bring your left palm up towards your face, and your left elbow is going to glue to the left inside of your knee. Okay? Then your right arm's going to reach forward. Yeah, you're going to look down at your left palm, and you're going to take 5 deep breaths into your right armpit, right shoulder blade, right back side of your body. Inhales and exhales. Don't worry too much about getting those ribs down on your exhale now. Just try to get some of that breath into the back side of that body, that right armpit. Okay, let's switch over to our other side. So now our right palm's going to go up, right elbow to right inside of knee, left arm reaches forward, breathing into the left armpit, left shoulder blade, even the left kind of back of your neck. Try to get air there. When you finish that 5th breath, you're going to lie right onto your side. Stack your feet, stack your knees, stack your hips. Palms are going to go together, and just rest your head down. And then you're going to trace your hand over the top of your head until your arms are kind of outstretched in a T position. You'll take 1 deep breath there. And then you'll trace that hand back over your head. So this is your side lying half moon. You're literally tracing a semicircle with your hand. Let's do this 2 more times. Big circle over the top of the head in the outstretched position. Inhale, exhale. And then trace that hand back. And let's do 1 more time. Big inhale and exhale. And then we'll roll over to our other side. Stack those feet, knees, hips, and hands. Trace the arm over the top of the head. Oh, that feels good. Big deep breath into the chest. And then exhale. Come back over. 2 more. Exhale. One more time. Big inhale into that chest, stretch those arms out. And come on back. Okay, you did it. You're all done. I have a separate camera for my computer today, so if I want to look at you, I have to hold my computer like this. Thank you so much for joining, you guys. It was really nice to see you, some new faces too. Awesome. Originals. Thanks for coming, Ken.